Hello and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Today we're here in Penryn.
CSI Mevagissy.
In today's video, a field in a county full of fields.
Tell a story which is 400 years old. This is it.
To slit the throat of the pirate and steal all his gold.
Gold, Sarah, gold. Oh, gold.
So what are we doing out on a day like today? It's tipping it down with rain. We're going to get wet. In fact, we're looking for one field in Penryn that has a tragic history, and we're going to share that story with you today. So let's go. With the rain getting heavier and hoping it might ease off later, we dived into a local cafe for some lunch, and it was delicious. Wow, looks amazing.
That looks amazing.
It does, doesn't it? I'm really excited. Smoked mackerel with poached eggs and lemon and yogurt sauce.
Very good.
Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Currants. That's amazing.
So then years later, once that person was there, we've got knowledge.
I don't know if we've deserved this, we haven't done much yet.
It's a rainy day in winter, what else is there to do? Chase currants around your plate. Nearly gone.
It's getting heavier, isn't it?
I know, whilst we're eating it's now just started to absolutely pour, isn't it? Now let's go and find the field where the story took place over 400 years ago. In this video we'll be using quotes from all of these books. They're actually in date order, with this one being a Victorian one, this is an Edwardian one from the 1930s, and this is quite recent. I think that's in the last 20 years or so that's been published. All of them cover this story and they have a slightly different version. It just goes to show you that the fascination with this story has stood the test of time. What are we doing?
Looking for a field. Might as well be looking for a needle in a haystack, couldn't we?
A field in a county full of fields.
Tell a story which is 400 years old.
Wow. So the evidence of this story is like non-existent?
Well, see, I dispute that. I think there's lots of evidence. You just need to know where to look.
But you don't know.
No. Might be up here.
I get the distinct feeling this is where it all goes wrong. Okay, so this is a farm called Penryn Farm. It's got Charolais cows on it. We've just had a quick wander up here and it goes on for quite a while. It turns into a very muddy track and we abandoned going any further. The distinct characteristic about the field that we're looking for is that it does actually have an old ring in it. It's called Round Ring, and it's where they used to perform plays in the Middle Ages. So we should be able to see it. It's been signposted a bit further back along the road, and we thought we were on the right track. I got a funny feeling we're on a bit of a wild goose chase. Across the valley is the town of Penryn, and Andrew is obviously studying something on his phone. What are you looking at?
Trying to find a site of a field.
Still.
Yeah, I've got old maps,
Yeah,
which I'm looking at here.
which we thought we knew where they were.
Yeah, and I've got modern day maps here as well.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put it all together really to work out where we should be. Do you know, I think where we've just been, where we didn't film,
Yeah.
was correct.
No, really?
Yeah. But there's clues. There's one here.
Yes, that is a big clue.
So we're in the right place.
Bohelland Rise leading to the Bohelland Way, and we're actually looking for the site of the old Bohelland farm, aren't we?
We are.
Okay, so we've just studied the maps, old and new, and it is in the field that we could see. We just can't see a way into the field. So this road, from what we can tell on the map, is called Round Ring. We were expecting Round Ring to be the field with the plain Angorian. Got that wrong, didn't we?
Yeah, but it's called Round Ring, this road,
Yeah.
right? And a round
Is
another name for a plain and quarry.
Yes.
So the clues are here. We're just piecing them together.
So we're going to take a right up here,
I
aren't we?
appreciate what you're watching at the moment. It's not going to make any sense at all.
Because it's not making any sense to us, is it?
No, but I think once we figure it out, we can probably explain ourselves a bit better.
Yeah. Are we making friends?
Why is that?
Chandler Park.
Very good. What's a Chandler then?
I don't know, I can't remember. I can't think of things like, oh, Trinance, that means farm, doesn't it?
I don't want that one though.
Oh.
That could just be a name of a property. We want to go
Okay.
up here, this modern estate.
There's a lane.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's at the back of the fence, which is where the field was we were looking for.
We might be in luck.
This is the field?
Is it?
Yeah, it's got to be. Absolutely got to be. When can you get into it?
Wow.
You're any good at climbing fences?
Not that high. So we were the other side of this hedge a moment ago. Can you believe this?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
That was blocked off here. So
What-
it's not
what?
fenced off, so you can't even get in.
It's in behind there.
That's convenient.
Can you see through there?
I know it's taller. Oh my god! Oh, hang on, I need to put my glasses on, I can't see. I think I've gone blurry for a minute.
What are you doing?
This is it.
It is, isn't
This
it?
is it.
It is there.
You need to come and have a look at this.
I can't get up there. You're like a mountain goat climbing a fence.
I've got a better view now.
What can you see?
Well, clearly it's a field,
Yeah.
possibly an orchard.
Okay. Private land though.
Yeah, it's definitely private land. There's something going on in the middle of the field actually. It looks like it's marked out for something.
Is that the old plain and gory, do you think?
No, it doesn't look like it. Whether it's going to be for building possibly. Don't know. Don't know.
That type of mark.
Hard to tell.
Well done. So it's been blocked off. It just doesn't go anywhere. I don't understand. Why would you put in this lovely tarmac surface with lighting and it goes nowhere?
The other thing I don't understand, we're clearly in an area now that's being developed.
Yeah.
You look at the older maps, it was all fields.
Yes.
Even on more recent times, there's been a bit of development here, but not much. But now there seems to be a lot more properties here. But the interesting thing is that this field hasn't been built on.
And that supports that feeling from locals that it's haunted, that it's suspicious, that you just don't go there.
Yeah, cursed.
Okay, so it looks like we're not going to be able to get into the field. So this is a story about tragedy, about murder, pirates, gold and betrayal. And it's a great, great story and we really want to tell you that. I think, would it be a good idea, Andrew, if we headed down to the church and see if it's open and see if we can get some shelter and tell the story?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do that. The story of the Bohelland murders has fascinated people for a very long time. It happened 400 years ago, but if you look at all these books, there is an account of it in every single one. There's accounts of it in books we don't own. Not that we can own all of the books. The very first time the story was told was in a pamphlet form in 1618, and it even included woodcuts of what they thought the scene looked like, and it announced the 4 deaths at Bohelland. So the older the account, the more difficult it is to read it because they use such old-fashioned language. This is an account from 1909. The person that wrote this is called Sabine Baring Gould, and he travelled through Cornwall collecting stories about various characters around the county. This is the bit where the story really starts, And he says, the owner of Bohelland was a man of some consideration and substance, unhappy only in his younger son, who, taking liberties with his father's bounty, with a crew of like condition, they went off to sea, basically. If I keep reading that, I'm going to have to explain it all. So let me just summarise it for you. So the story goes like this. There was a family, a farmer and his son. The son was kind of taking advantage of his dad a little bit and the privileges that were bestowed on him. And you get the impression there was a bit of tension there. The son, with his friends, decided that he was going to go off to sea. They became pirates. They went looting and they did quite well. They got a little bit cocky and they decided that they would take on a Turkish ship. Whilst they were doing it, the firearms, they didn't work. They discharged wrong and they came backwards instead of going over to the Turkish boat. Their boat smashed, but he was such a good swimmer, he made it to land. He landed at Rhodes. In his possession, he had some jewels. He wanted to make some money, so he decided to try to sell these to a Jew. The Jew recognised these jewels as belonging to the governor of Algiers, and he basically dobbed the young man in. The young man was then sent to a galley ship as a white slave under the Turkish regime at the time. Through some mechanism, we aren't quite sure how, he managed to escape and he boarded an English ship that brought him back to London. He then became a servant to a surgeon, and from there he was able to go to the West Indies and make another fortune.
So after a period of about 15 years, and he'd been out to the West Indies, he'd amassed quite a considerable fortune, and he wanted to basically to come home to find his parents and explain that he'd been able to create this wealth, and he wanted to come back and perhaps make good some of the things that he did wrong before he went away. So he eventually came back to Cornwall, he made his way to Penryn, and he actually met with his sister.
Between the brother and sister, they decided to play a joke on their parents. He didn't want to reveal his identity straight away, and he asked his sister if he would just introduce him as a traveller that needed a night's accommodation and he would be on his way. The mother took him in. Anyway, over the fireplace in the evening, he recounted stories, regaled them with adventures that he'd had in the last 15 years or so whilst he'd been at sea. He also gave the mother a little bit of gold, and this was his undoing. So the mother came up with a plan. She wanted all of the gold. She roused her husband, who'd gone to bed, and persuaded him, against his better judgment, to slit the throat of the pirate and steal all his gold. They covered his body and left it, deciding that they would deal with it in the morning. However, when morning broke, their daughter arrived, joyous and happy, couldn't wait for the merriment, the news that her brother had come home wealthy with riches. And she asked them, "How is the sailor that stayed the night?" They denied even seeing one. She thought this was suspicious and pushed them a little harder. The story goes that she then told the father that it was her brother that had stayed the night, and he was identified by a scar on his arm. The father then, doubting what he'd done, in absolute anguish ran upstairs, found the mark on the dead man's body and realised his crime. He'd killed his own son. In absolute horror, he took the knife he killed his son with and slit his own throat, fell to the floor. The mother downstairs wondered what was happening. Where had her husband gone? She went to find them, discovered 2 bodies. She also discovered that this was her son, and now her husband was dead, and with the very same knife she plunged it into her breast and died. She was then obviously not appearing downstairs, and the sister, the only remaining member of the family, was getting really worried. She went upstairs, found this scene, and I don't know, the story just says that she died instantly on discovering this awful bloodbath. Baring Gould was fascinated by this story. In fact, he had lots of questions, and he did more research. He raises questions.
Well, he does, because he's basically saying, well, that's the story, and it's quite an in-depth story, but how does anybody know what happened, and is it true? Because everybody involved in this story has died.
Yes. So who was left to tell the tale?
Yeah.
And he took it further, because he actually went into St Gluvius Church to try to find the records, didn't he? Do you just want to grab the book and read that out?
So Baring Gould in his book actually quotes this. He says, "Now, according to the story, there were 4 deaths. one a murder, 2 by suicide, and one might expect to obtain these names from the parish register. But this register, which goes back into the middle of the 16th century, has the page or pages removed for the burials of 1618. That is to say, from the first days of 1618 to the middle of 1621. This looks much as if the family sought to destroy every trace of the crime.
So we don't know the name of this family, and like Andrew's just read out from the book, it seems to have been wiped from record. The only surviving record was this pamphlet that was produced in 1618. News from Penryn of a tragic murder, of which even that, I think there's only one copy left, isn't there?
Yeah.
In the Bodleian Library.
That's right, yeah.
So who would have stood to have gained?
Well, it was either someone very influential perhaps in the village.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the gentry perhaps.
Right.
Or there is suggestions it might have been somebody who was involved with the church.
It does raise so many questions.
So the more you actually research this story, the more you find, and it's way too much to include in this short little YouTube video today. And if you're interested yourself, I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find more information as well. But it was actually turned into a play in the 1700s, and the play was performed in London, in Haymarket and Covent Garden, and it was called A Fatal Curiosity. And the only changes in that, as far as I can see, was the father and the mother. In the play, they actually had it as a stepmother and made her out to be like almost like a Lady Macbeth type character, and the sister wasn't the sister, it was the pirate's first love. And they actually gave a name in that play, and they called the family the Wilmot family. But again, there's no record that indicates there was a family called Wilmot living at Bohelland in the 1600s.
This is a legend, a favoured myth in Penryn, and we've been told there's a geocache near the field, so we're going to go and find that now. So we're now going to head back up that driveway that was the farm and see if we can see anything through the hedge and prove the point that that is where Bohelland Farm was. I think that is, I'm fairly sure in my own mind, having looked at the maps and feet on the ground, that is the field of the Bohelland tragedy.
And clearly we can't get in there, great big gate here, private land.
It's a little squirrel just hopped across.
But that's where it would have been, in there.
I think this is as close as we're going to get.
I agree.
So that's that fence that we were poking up over earlier.
Ago, isn't it?
And that's the site of the old Bohelland farm.
So 400 years ago, Sarah. Over
I know.
400 years ago.
Picking up on this story, have you ever heard of geocaching? Where there's a box that you find in a hidden away place. Andrew's just looking up the details. But there is meant to be a geocache. Inside is meant to be some gold, which honours the story. So let's just have a little look for that a minute.
Okay, I've got some clues for you.
Go on then.
Right, look for a big hole in the hedge.
A big hole in the hedge.
Yeah, as you walk up the lane, uphill, the cache is on your left.
Left.
Look down on the road for 6 irregular shaped brick-sized stones. It's about 5 paces behind you.
Up here then.
Yeah.
In the hedge, on the left, near some irregular shaped stones in the floor. A hole in the hedge. A hole in the hedge. Right, I think we might have found
Here's some stuff.
the geocache. It's in there.
Oh yes, gosh. Could be drugs.
Brilliant!
Have a look. I didn't think we were going to find
No, I
that.
didn't either.
Should we go and have a little look?
Yes.
Come on then.
Let's put one of these umbrellas down.
Brilliant.
What's in there? What's in
So,
there?
Look, camera there.
So it's meant to be some sort of gold in honour of this story.
Yeah, let's have a little look, see what we got in here. So, cool.
Ah,
Okay.
okay, Bohelland Tragedy.
It says, "This is the sight of a sad and sorry tale. To make his riches the son did set sail. Years had passed and the boy presumed dead. Back to the shores he made it shipwrecked instead. Wretched and half drowned he made it back, asleep in his bed, unaware of his parents' attack. As they saw all his gold and treasures he'd made, they hit him on the head with the back of a spade. When the truth was uncovered and all was known, they had killed their own son, their hearts turned to stone. It was all due to greed and the promises of gold. So now you know and the story's been told. I hope this cash has brought you pleasure, but don't go near or touch the gold treasure."
That is so brilliant. That sums it up beautifully. So what's inside the box?
Let's have a little look. Don't normally do these, do we?
No.
Bit of fun, aren't they? Oh,
Yeah, you're nearly there.
there we go. Oh, very good.
Oh, very good. Don't touch it. Don't touch the treasure. Love it.
That's good, isn't it? Something else in there. Should have a little look.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Geocaching.com. Game
So it was
quiz.
last found in October.
23.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
There's no implement to write with. We don't have one, do we?
What I'll do, I'll take some of the gold, I'll go down to Penryn and I'll go and buy a pen.
Come back up the steep hill
Yeah.
and write on it. I don't think we do have a pen, do
No, we don't, unfortunately, so I'll pop that back in. Made it really muddy, I'm sorry about that.
we? Yeah, inevitable.
Oops.
It's buried in a hedge.
Gold, Sarah, gold. Oh, gold. Actually got a skull and crossbone on it.
Oh, brilliant. He was a pirate after all.
Yeah.
Look at that. I don't know if it'll focus on that, but...
And there's a chest on the other side.
Oh. Kid's treasure, isn't it?
See, I hope that this video will be a gem. This field is truly a hidden gem. Well, that is conclusive proof we've got the right field then,
Yeah,
isn't
you're
it?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
So
Where did this
it
come out
was
of?
in there.
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah, this one. Right, I'll pop it back in there. I think it was that way around.
Yeah, just with a little corner poking out.
poking out.
Oh, brilliant. High five. Oh, you're muddy.
No. The thing I really want to know, and you can help me with this, and if you know the answer then leave it in the comments below, is first of all, who discovered the bodies?
Yeah.
And more importantly, when they discovered the bodies, did they actually rummage around and check over the pirate and find out where all his gold was? And what did they do with it, and where is it now? Because
And
if you
who
know,
spent it?
Yeah, well, you might have buried it. Could be in that field. That might
Oh
be
my
where we're not
goodness
allowed in.
me. Oh,
So it's next time we'll go along there with a metal detector and a spade.
the questions are just boundless. They just go on forever. Oh, fascinating story. So I hope you found it fascinating too. What a story. A tragedy at Bohelland. What else can you do but look for a field in the middle of Penryn on a wet February day?
I know, I first sort of read about that about a year ago, and I've been wanting to go to Penryn to actually try and find this field ever since, and we've been able to do it today. So I've satisfied my itch. The one thing I forgot to tell you in that is that lane we were walking up to try and find that field in the first place is also reputed to be haunted.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't do this at night then.
No. But people have seen the apparition of an old lady in that lane, and a number of people as well, and they absolutely swear blind it's an old lady, and the next time we look up, this lady's gone.
Okay.
Anyway, maybe that's another video.
No!
The hauntings of Cornwall. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's video, give us a thumbs up, does help with the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like to help us out as well, because there is a little bit of cost in us making these videos every week, then please consider buying us a coffee. We'll leave a link to the QR code below, and thank you to everybody that's already done that. We do appreciate it.
So until next time, we'll see you soon.
Bye!
So that does raise a load of questions. So what happened to all those stories? Who sent them?
Yeah, and how do they know it happened?
Yeah, and why isn't the power still there?
That land is still land. Nobody's built on it, nobody lives there. It's cursed. That land is cursed. I wouldn't say.